When the moon is full and darkness reigns, my hunt begins. For I am a prowler that lurks in the night. For I am a predator that stalks your every step. My claws tear, my fangs pierce the very flesh from your bone. I take a bite from your heart as I howl. Tonight is the night of the hunt. Tonight is the night of another Spooktober special of Banter and Such.
Welcome to Banter and Such. I'm Brando.
And I'm Owen.
And today we are talking about werewolf movies!
And of course, today we had to bring on a person that legitimately is just a werewolf in real life.
Yes.
We've described him as a Viking. We've described him as the tallest man ever. But truly, he is just a werewolf. We have none other than Puck Puck.
Woof woof. I don't know if anybody's ever thrown that one at me as you're a werewolf, but I'll take it.
You're tall, you're hairy.
I like werewolves.
You're carnal, you're a werewolf.
Yeah. I think werewolves come out in shapes and sizes. I don't think you should just appreciate tall werewolves.
All right,
rise up, short kings.
Let's get to some BS. Up short kings.
So today, obviously, we're talking about probably my favorite movie monster of all time.
Really?
Werewolves.
All right.
But before we get into all the great werewolf movies we're going to talk about today, we need to give you a heads up on some stuff.
Yes, first of all, I want to let you know about our amazing merch at theheliosnetwork.com. We got Wasted Truth t-shirts, Banter and Such stickers, which I love these stickers. There's a lot of little reflector
really
stuff on them.
Yeah.
I'm putting them
They're
everywhere.
holographic.
They're all over my house.
Yeah.
And we got Owen and Brando pins. I have, like, the pin of me is me wearing my favorite green jacket.
Yep.
And I have that pin on my green jacket. So and we got more stuff coming out soon,
and it's
too.
me wearing my favorite mustard jacket, and I also have it on my mustard jacket.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's at theheliosnetwork.com.
And if you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon. The link is in the show description. It's patreon.com/banter and such. If you support the show, it just enables us to keep doing what we're doing, but on a bigger scale. You're not only supporting Banter and Such, but the Helios Network as a whole. And plus, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you get to ask us questions, which we answer in our bonus banter episodes. Which is a new show, not a new show, just another show we do every week. And we do like 30 minutes after every episode. We just keep talking about the things we love.
Awesome. Okay, now we are ready to jump into our topic of werewolves. Your favorite?
My favorite.
Your favorite
My
monster,
favorite. Of
movie
all
monster.
the Halloween monsters,
Okay.
werewolf is my favorite. But before we get into that,
Oh, even before.
Puck, show us your receipts. Why are you on today's episode of Banter and Such?
You asked me. I don't know. I'm with you. I do think werewolves, to me, have always been my favorites of the horror group. I don't think they get enough love. And you and I were talking earlier that I don't think it's had as much of a category or like a library of like really, really good werewolf movies.
Yes.
As like vampires do. And I think we were talking about earlier. It's like I think it's because people want to fuck vampires and they don't want to fuck a werewolf.
Yeah.
So, I think the vampire genre is mostly sold as romance novels to women.
Well, because no matter what, a vampire still kind of looks like a human.
Yeah, it's a sexy dude or woman.
Yeah.
That wears like leather and bites people's necks. Like it's literally a Gen Z.
Can you stop describing my sex life.
Yeah. Well, you know, all right. I think yours is probably more akin to a werewolf. But
I think people
Also
are
fair.
I think people are just biased against the hair. They don't like body hair.
yeah, well, no, people like beards. I can attest to that.
But beards, that's facial hair though. I think it's the body hair thing. It's
Okay.
There's still a whole.
yeah. If you get hair on like your back and stuff, it's not that cool.
People don't
Are
like
you trying
that.
to say something against my costume right now, Brando?
Yeah, no, I love
I'm
them.
the hairiest motherfucker right now in my werewolf costume.
I actually love real life body hair too. I think it's underrated. So
Yeah.
but I think
I think there's something to it that like vampires are an easier sell, and I think part of it is truly sexuality.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much different of a story than like a werewolf.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah, but goddamn, isn't that sexy?
That feels.
Yes, it is sexy.
Chills you to the core.
I'm a little turned
It's almost
on.
like the Incredible Hulk, because I was just watching She-Hulk right before I came here. And it's like
Yes!
transforming into a strong monster. It's like that's a cool thing, but it's not as like when we were going through the movies. I agree with you guys totally, because I was like going through the list of movies. I was like, a lot of these are not good. You know, like there's very few good werewolf movies.
We talked about it in last week's episode where we like listed off the vampire movies that we thought about talking about.
Then tons of them
and
were
the
great.
list
Like,
went
so
on and
many,
on,
yeah.
and even then we didn't
on and on.
we didn't even like branch into majority of the good vampire movies that we could talk about. Brando and I, for this episode, even then when Puck decided to come on as a guest,
Yeah.
we had a hard time.
Yeah, we did.
Do you think
narrowing
do you think
down.
it's because of like, is it a storytelling device thing that makes it a werewolf more difficult? Because it does not seem like it should be that much more difficult.
Well, here's my thing:
than a
is
vampire.
a werewolf is just basically Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
And there's never been a good Jekyll. I mean, there's a few good Jekyll and Hyde movies, but it's the exact same thing. So why is it that there can't be a good Jekyll and Hyde movie, and why is it that there can't? It's hard to do a werewolf.
You know,
movie?
I think part of it is too the special effects. I think
okay.
you know,
Yeah, that's
to
fair.
have
That's
a
actually
vampire
a
on
really-
screen.
That's a smart point. Just
Yeah.
production costs
Yeah,
alone.
because as I was watching this, one of the movies in particular was like, this is a decent movie, but one of the things that definitely brings it down, we'll talk about it later, is the werewolf itself. I was like, this effect is just not good, man. You
Yeah,
know?
well, I think that's why Twilight just used real wolves.
Yeah.
They're like it's just cheaper to hire a guy that has wolves in
Yeah,
his
a wolf
yard.
wrangler, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
like this
I
guy.
hated that,
Yeah, like it's like they don't look like they're not.
Ooh, look at the werewolves.
Yeah,
You mean real
that's,
wolves?
That's actually
yeah.
that actually is a very good point. That it's probably a costuming issue.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when you
with-
get
with-
it
look at
right,
Brando
though.
with the most thought-provoking
with
questions so
vampires,
far.
you just throw a cloak on and some plastic in their mouth, and they're
Yeah.
a vampire.
Yeah, you comb your hair back and you're a vampire.
yeah.
So
yeah.
you bring up a good point, Puck. I want to talk about before we get into werewolves. So there's two questions I want to ask. Okay,
Yeah.
the first question is: it sounds like we're all going to answer the same way, but would you rather be a werewolf or a vampire?
Oh man.
Werewolf for me.
It depends. There's so many different kinds though. That's the only thing.
So that's gonna be second question.
Yeah.
But like right now, if you were to get bitten by a werewolf or a vampire, which one would you choose?
I think probably vampire, depending on the kind.
Werewolf.
I would say werewolf just because like I'm always like no pun intended, like an underdog fan favorite. Like
Heyo!
I tend to find things more compelling if they're not as easily liked.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, I think honestly it would be easier to be a vampire. It's like,
Oh, 100%.
hey, you're cool and ancient and probably a millionaire, and you just have blood orgies all the time. It seems like a lot tougher life to be a werewolf. You know, like that's like that Sigma male. I'm a lone wolf.
For me,
all
it's-
I do is make money and run around the world biting people.
For me, it's the clothes. I don't want to be constantly ripping up my clothes. You know, when you get a
That's
nice
fair.
outfit, you know, it's like I want this to
Yeah.
last. I don't want to tear
That's
it up.
fair. That's a great point.
I'm a werewolf 100% through and through too.
Okay.
I love the idea. There's something so visceral and carnal about being a werewolf that I love.
You lose control.
Yeah.
You
Just letting out the inner beast and
Yeah.
just going.
Because the vampire is the more of the cold-blooded,
Well,
the killer, but
there
the
is an
werewolf is-
animal aspect to a vampire as well. They literally turn into bats. And I mean, if you're talking about like a Van Helsing vampire,
Yeah.
like he literally turns into a gigantic bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To fight the werewolf at the end, that is played by Hugh. Great
Then-
movie.
So my second question, my follow-up question was to that would be, what is your favorite iteration? Because through all the werewolf movies, there has been a bunch of different variations. There's
Yeah.
obviously, like, you could talk about like the OG Wolfman, where it just was, he kind of was still looked like a human, just had a lot of hair and like the claws and fangs of a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have, like, you could talk about more traditional cinema where it's like he turns into like a hybrid wolf
Yeah.
man thing.
And then you have the
Twilight, which they just turn into wolves.
A regular ass wolf. Yeah.
The underworld.
You like the
Rise of the Lycans.
The Lycans.
I was bummed we didn't cover that.
'Cause
Rise of the Lycans, I actually really, really enjoyed.
Yes.
But they could do that on command, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them could, like the originals could. I think as a
originals eventually
as it diluted down, they lost a little bit more control, but like the originals were able to transform, and then on nights of a full moon were more powerful. That was the apex of their capabilities, but they could still do it at the beginning of the month. They would just they would be less powerful than that's why the vampires feared them on a full moon, because at full moon a vampire could never beat them.
Yeah. And as well, it was the originals eventually would turn into the anthropomorphic werewolf, the half human, half man kind of thing,
which I prefer,
but would never be able to turn back.
Oh,
I think if you stayed as a werewolf too long, you
something like that.
It's like if you make a funny face for too long, your face gets stuck.
I think I have to go with you, Puck.
If you masturbate, you also go blind.
That's true. Well, I got the hair.
Who said that?
That's where the hair on the hands come from. So. Again, hair as a punishment.
Yeah.
If you masturbate, you're going to get hair on your hands. What's wrong with hair on your hands? It's like,
so you don't have to wear gloves.
No, but I got to go with you. I like the underworld, because I like the one, like the kind that if I could control it. But my least, I know how I'd answer the opposite. At what's my least favorite would be whatever's the most painful, because like some of these transformations, a part of the werewolf mythology is that scene. And the guy's like bones are crunching, and the guy's like, ah!
I can't remember what show. There was a show on, I want to say Netflix, where
Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove. That was the most dramatic form of werewolf transformation. So literally, like the way it's presented is like there is literally a wolf inside of them that is ripping its way out of their skin.
Oh my gosh!
Like you see his mouth open, and then you see the wolf's muzzle start punching through his mouth.
Oh, it is like it's like the human body is folding in on itself.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Into the wolf. And there's a scene too where in Hemlock Grove, which I fucking love that show, but there's a scene where one of the werewolves is selling fake drugs to some dudes. So he gives them these like fake drugs, placebo, and then turns into a wolf. Because to them, it's in that universe, they're turning into a wolf, not like a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
And then he like sticks his hand out of the wolf's mouth to like then make it even trippier.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah. That's not the one I want. Not that one. The body horror thing, that freaks me out.
Yeah,
my favorite transformation of a werewolf in anything, and unfortunately we're not talking about that movie today, but Van Helsing. The Hugh Jackman one.
Really cool.
It's the opposite. Yeah.
I love it because it's tearing off the skin and it's like letting the beast within come out. Rather than being like the bone crackling transformation, it is the beast within is coming out and just rip off your skin straight into it.
It's kind of a similar idea to that Hemlock Grove where like it's like I got two wolves inside of me at all times.
Well, the only thing with like some of these movies we've mentioned is like with Underworld, for example, and I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to choose it for today was that it's a vampire movie also.
Yeah. And
it's more of an action movie. And I love it. I love the Underworld movies. But I was like, man, I want to give attention to just werewolves. Yeah. And then
I guess it is a rarity that you have a werewolf movie that doesn't involve vampires.
And as you're going through the list, you're just like, man, there's not a lot of good ones. But also werewolves, it seems, whereas vampires tend to lend itself towards the romantic and sexy, werewolf movies, for whatever reason, tend to go towards the kind of silly and goofy. Just because I don't know if the idea of werewolves is funnier or something, or you know,
I don't think it is. But in any sense,
but to me it's scarier because they're more of a monster than vampires in some ways.
Right.
Because it's a vampire is a monster 24/7.
Yeah.
Right. But like they don't need to be as visceral and feral.
Yeah.
All the time. But when a werewolf transforms,
that's a good point.
Well, he's more of a victim too.
It is straight utter destruction.
Yeah. Whereas the vampire, when you're a vampire, you become evil.
Yes.
But with your werewolf, you're still a good person. It's just every now and then when you're on your period, you want to murder people.
Cut that.
But
that goes into one of our movies.
Into it. So with that, these are the movies that we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. All right. So there's a couple different ones we're going to talk about. But the first one, in and of itself, I think is, I will say it like I said last week for the vampire.
Oh yeah, which one do you
episode,
want to talk about first?
I think this is probably the pinnacle of a werewolf movie, of like the mythos of a werewolf movie.
Yes.
Is American Werewolf in London.
Yes.
We're
Coming
also
out the gate.
Yes.
Then we're gonna talk about Teen Wolf.
All right.
And then we're going to talk about Ginger Snaps, and we'll get into Werewolf by Night a little bit. That's kind of where the flow of tonight.
Yes.
We're probably going to talk about a lot of other ones, but Un-American Werewolf in London.
It is so good. This movie is the quintessential werewolf movie. It presents the werewolf story and mythos in like the classic. I mean, as Bram Stoker's Dracula is to vampire.
Which one?
This is Bram Stoker's. This is
I don't know that movie.
I know. This is the
you mean
one
Bram
that's not on Pornhub that you saw.
Stroker. Barely know her.
But like as that is to the quintessential vampire movie, this is the quintessential werewolf movie, and it is fantastic,
Great movie.
man.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
A classic.
I will say to your point earlier, it's like way more comedic than I expected it to be.
Yes.
A lot of jokes.
With the friend.
Yeah.
So
And
I guess we need to give an overview of the story first. So it's the classic two buddies backpacking in Europe. They're in the United Kingdom.
In England.
Yeah, in England. Kind
Northern
of like
England in the moors.
in the moors. And they walk into that opening scene where they walk into the pub.
The slaughtered lamb.
Oh,
And just has the most metal fucking poster for itself. It's just a werewolf's head on an axe.
and they have the pentagram on the wall with candles. Yep. And they're like, why is that there? It's like, it's been there for 200 years. We don't know.
Yeah, we were going to
This
paint
building
over it, but it's tradition.
in London and the moors of England have survived 200 years of desecration.
And that scene's amazing. And so basically they're out. They get attacked by the werewolf. One buddy is killed. The other one survives, and then slowly, like as he's recovering, falls in love with the nurse, which is actually a fantastic love story.
Yes.
And then becomes a werewolf, and tragedy ensues. But like you said, the comedy elements with the friend. Now, this is a part. I don't know if this is an official part of the werewolf lore, but the victim of the werewolf is still on Earth.
If
as
they're
a
dead
ghost.
in this story. So, I mean, like, if you were killed, you become a werewolf. So the last werewolf has
if you survive, you become a werewolf.
Yeah, if you survive,
Yeah.
you become, but if you're killed, it's never been presented in another story. So I want to say this was like a plot, like a storytelling device.
Yeah.
Was the adding the friend there.
But it was cool.
Who's
It was
slowly
I like that idea.
decomposing the entire time.
Each time he shows up, he's more and more decomposed.
Yeah, that was
I
a
love
wild
that element
choice.
too,
great.
because like you guys said, it hasn't been in anything, but it makes sense where if something so unholy and forsaken kills you, your soul cannot pass on into whatever afterlife that you're supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Right? So I like that, where it's like, hey, this is such a monstrosity that not only did it kill you and take you away from your loved ones, but it stopped your soul from transcending.
Dude, how awesome is that? That is a curse right there.
Yeah.
That is a curse.
Did they ever explain why that small town had such like a protective?
Nope.
Like they're like, we don't want anybody to know about the curse of the werewolf, and it's like, don't tell him, don't tell him.
Maybe it's because it was their buddy, because they ended up shooting the guy, and he looked like a local. Like,
well, I mean, clearly though, it's been a thing for a long time too.
Well, that's part of the creepiness of it, because it's out in the English countryside.
Yeah.
That's where spooky things happen, and you feel like. Ancient and medieval things can still happen even in modern times.
Redneck British people.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's probably akin to going to a small southern town in Alabama and walking into a saloon,
like a cannibal chainsaw massacre guy.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar thing where it's like there's just sort of this disconnection between the world that and this world.
Well, I love the idea that because I looked up a little bit like werewolf lore, because I remember last time I was asking about vampire lore.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and werewolf is one of those European, like just old European lore, like folklore legends. And that's what I love about this movie is like it doesn't spell it out, but it just gives you the feeling that these things can
doesn't
still
over-explain
exist.
something. That's something when I think some of the best horror movies do that, where they're like, we are not going to spoon feed you.
Oh yeah,
we're going to introduce something that is inherently creepy and not explain it at all. And it's not even a major part of the storytelling device, but that whole plot where it's like you have this group of people that clearly know something and they're hiding a secret.
Yeah.
But we don't know why. And we don't know why they need to do that or anything about it. It's just an interesting device that's part of a larger storytelling.
That whole bar scene is creepy in and of itself. Like,
I loved it.
They walk in, they're like, "Hey, can we get this? No, we don't have that. Well, can we get coffee? No, we don't have that."
And the two Americans just stuck out like sore thumbs.
They keep cutting to like taxidermy on the walls.
Yeah, and it builds that where it's like no matter what they ask for,
the guy's throwing darts.
The tavern, the inn doesn't have it. They're like, "No, we don't have it. We don't have it." And everyone's sitting there and they're kind of like looking weird. They tell that like weird joke, and all of a sudden
remember the Alamo?
Yeah, remember the Alamo joke? Yeah. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, what about the pentagram? And it's like record scratch stop.
The guy misses his darts.
Yeah,
I've
never missed before in my entire life. That's my British accent. I hope you liked it.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was great.
I had it not involving the pub, but I've talking about the jokes earlier. There was that weird where they wrote a conversation into the porno that they were watching.
Oh God!
Where it's like two people having sex on the bed, and then some guy comes in. And he's just like, "I told you never to do this again." And the guy's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "Not you, her." And she's like, "I don't know who you are." He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and just leaves.
So, to explain that, there's a scene in the movie where the werewolf guy
David
meets up
Kessler
with his dead friend
David Kessler,
at a porno theater.
Yeah, he meets up at like the we'll see you Wednesday or something. It's like the name of the theater or something. But yeah, it's like the old porn theaters where dudes would just go watch spank off in the theater before the time of the internet.
But they did like cut away to that. I wonder if that was maybe it's a product of its time because it was a 1981 movie. So maybe it's like, oh, we gotta have boobies in it or like, some kind of
like that whole line was a joke that just seemed to be.
It didn't make any sense.
I think they just wanted to do it for fun. Like it gave nothing to the movie except
not one single bit,
except making me crack the fuck up. Yeah. I thought that was the funniest shit in the world.
I think it's because some of this is meant to be satirical, so I think that's like their way of doing that. But you're right, like it was just making fun of not only how bad certain horror movies are, but also how bad porn was.
Oh yeah.
Did the ending scene in Piccadilly Circle, did that remind you any of like the cinematography of King Kong?
Okay, I didn't think about that, but I can see, like an old school, like
like Times Square. Essentially. Yeah.
So eventually, what happens is, for listeners, is David Kessler, like he survives the werewolf attack. He's in the hospital. He's recovering from it, and he thinks he's going insane. So he's starting to have visions of himself like killing animals. He's seeing his dead friend, but then eventually, at the end of it, he does turn into the werewolf.
Oh yeah,
in London.
Yeah,
and like has his
American.
whole thing. And yeah, dude, honestly, I love that analogy because there isn't like him climbing the skyscrapers, but there definitely
he's in an alley, and then his death is because of the woman that he's fallen in love with. He pauses his rampage for a second because she's trying to talk him down, and then somebody moves and he kind of snaps, and they all shoot him, and then Blue Moon plays in the background.
Yeah,
great soundtrack to this.
Wonderful.
But it's just it was just such an interesting like intro and outro where you have like the spooky English countryside of the moors with all the fog.
Yeah,
and they're just playing Blue Moon. Like in the background. And
I love that beer.
And then like him dying at the end.
Well,
they go out with Blue Moon.
That's
as well.
part of the odd tone of this movie because even after his first because he has two transformations, I think, in this movie, and after the first one, he wakes up butt naked in the zoo, and it's this comical scene
with the wolves
of him like running around naked trying to get clothes, and like he lures that boy over with balloons.
Hey boy,
hey, come over here, boy.
And the little
boy
boy
with the balloon.
The boy goes straight to his mom.
Mom, a naked American man stole my balloons.
And she's like, what?
What?
He's like, come here. I'll give you £2 if you give me your balloons. Why? And when he tried to like say he was the balloon thief, well then why would you give me £2? Like it turned into like Monty Python there for a second. And then he stole that woman's.
The kid just has kind of a knowing smile when he runs away.
But he stole that woman's like dress with the big, furry, thing on it. And
Quite the weather. What does he say? A lot of weather we're having right now.
as he's standing in line to get on the bus.
Also, I like speaking of British children are the creepiest storytelling device of any fucking horror genre. They're just inherently creepy to me.
But before we move on, there's a question I want to ask about every single movie that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And that is, how did you feel about the transformation scene?
So that is
because that is
brutal. They only
the
show it
most
once.
pivotal part of a werewolf movie is when you finally see the human transform into the wolf.
The one thing I found difficult about it was he was just in the room reading a book and then just starts, oh no! Oh, help me! Like there was no
I'm feeling odd.
Yeah.
Oh,
it went from 0 to 100
hey,
real quick.
Yeah, I'm reading fucking the daily newspaper to
Daily Planet.
My fucking fingers are falling.
But I like that because it showed him like he was bored, he's just sitting around, and he didn't believe anything was bad, and like it just caught him off guard.
I think I guess my point is I think it would have been more impactful if there had been a slow psychological build up to it.
Yeah.
Rather than going from 0 to werewolf.
Which is all of the other movies essentially we saw was that slow, what's this on my shoulder?
But
that
I will
sort of
say,
thing.
probably for all the movies that we're talking about today, this was my favorite transformation.
Oh yeah,
because
hands down.
When they finally get to it, it is long.
Yes,
the
very
transformation
drawn out.
is very drawn out. It is visceral. It is brutal, and it is disgusting.
It plays like watching someone get tortured.
Well, so this is the thing I wanted to talk about with this movie. I was like, we got to make sure we mention this because if there's one thing this movie is absolutely famous for, it's this transformation scene. Because this scene, not only like among special effects artists, like at the time in 1981, when people saw these practical effects, people's minds were absolutely blown. Like, and the storytelling of, because I think Stan Winston was actually involved in some of this. I'm not sure if he was, but how they put like air bubbles underneath fake skin that was attached to hoses off screen, and they were pumping like with these hand pumps to pump these balloons up to make it look like the guy's forehead was bulging and all of this stuff
and moving outward.
Yeah, it's just
there's a scene where he's like clearly holding a prop hand, but it's like one of the few
stretching.
One of the few moments in the whole thing. You also have someone witnessing their own transformation.
Yes.
So you're seeing his fingers grow from like a human finger to like 6 inches long.
Yes.
And also watching his reaction at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good.
And honestly, we've talked about it a lot. I think I mentioned even on last week's episode. But like that's one of the things I really like about the transformation is it still holds up. Like now,
it absolutely does.
Now
it very much does.
We can look at it and go, "Hey, we understand that it's visual effects,
That's
like,
great.
Yeah.
but it's makeup, but it looks still so good and so real at times."
Yeah.
That I'm like, man.
I mean, that's the
this
thing about
is what
practical
movie
effects.
Today's is missing.
Practical effects have always had a sort. I mean, it's like people saying, "Oh, I like vinyl just because I like the feel of something in my hands."
Yeah.
Like the human eye will almost always be able to perceive something that is real versus something that is CGI generated.
Yeah, and it hits you different. Like
even if it doesn't look 100% realistic, it still looks more real because it's
it
a
is real.
real thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's something to be said about watching a movie for characters and watching a movie for story, absolutely. But also watching a movie for the visual entertainment. When you're watching that transformation
So
scene,
you mean any Guillermo del Toro movie?
yeah, essentially, yeah, honestly. But when you're watching that transformation scene, you're watching a group of craftsmen who are absolutely masters of their craft doing the best work that they've ever done in their lives, like creating a literal masterpiece. And it is awesome to watch.
And to Puck's point, I'd rather take real visual effects that don't look good than CGI that looks great.
But these do look good though. That's the thing.
You'd rather take ginger snaps than Avatar?
Which Avatar?
I don't know, man. Ginger Snaps is rough.
Because I haven't seen either one of the Avatars.
Okay, then
fucking
She-Hulk.
Blue people?
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about She-Hulk. We're going to do an episode on She-Hulk, but...
this is an absolute recommend. Like, if you haven't seen American Werewolf in London, not Paris, London.
London. Yes.
I had actually never seen this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was thoroughly and happily surprised by it. I knew it was iconic. and I get now why it was.
Yes,
but
yes.
It still holds up.
This was a true, genuine joy for me to watch.
And you know, I've constantly talked about my shtick thing. So once again, I think if a movie has a shtick, write a good movie, then put that shtick into it. And Brandon, you were saying this earlier, where like this alone is just a good like love romance movie.
It is.
It could have been two
I was
friends
surprised
in
by that.
London, and one of them does get attacked by a wolf and dies. The other one survives the attack and just is in a hospital, falling in love with the nurse.
recovering, and that
she's
taking care of him.
That could have been the movie, and it would have been great.
And even just those scenes were fantastic. I love those characters interacting.
The shtick was it happened to be a werewolf.
Yeah, well, that's the tragedy of it.
Yeah. But that's the shtick is that, and that's why I love it, because they use that as just a platform to finish the story rather than it being just this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, like we all been saying, I 100% would say of the maybe 5 good werewolf movies,
This is the best,
this is one you definitely have to watch.
I would give it probably a solid 4 stars, maybe 4.5.
Yeah, I'm
one.
around a 4 stars for sure. So
Yeah.
Puck, 4 out of 5. How many stars out of 5?
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
Yeah, I'd say 4. Maybe like a 3.8.
Cool. Awesome. Now the next one, which is probably going to be the most problematic movie we talk about in
You don't think
today's
Ginger Snaps
episode.
is going to be problematic?
No, this is way more problematic than Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, that's true.
Is,
Well, the movie itself.
Michael J. Fox's own Teen Wolf.
Yes. Oh man.
I don't remember this Air Bud prequel.
Yeah, because it's him turning eventually just into a dog that's good at basketball.
Yeah, he's just a hairy teenager.
Yeah.
he's just a regular ass
like what just a really sloppily handled allegory for puberty.
Yes, I mean that's clearly what this movie's about. It's about puberty, and there's so much to say about this. So I remember it being better than it was, and I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is rough, man."
Honestly, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox hates it.
Yeah, I probably haven't watched Teen Wolf in 10, 15 years.
Once again, this is not. I had never seen this movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while for
So
me.
I don't have any sort of fond memories of it.
I have fond memories. And this past time watching it, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I was like, "This is rough, my man." Like, obviously, there's some problematic things in it. So this is what year was this? Was this 80s?
So Teen Wolf was 85.
So obviously, it's a movie about teenagers. So teenagers in 1985 are going to say things that are offensive. So if you watch this movie, they're saying things that don't represent the views of the Helios Network. Okay?
No, not at all.
They do drop a couple slurs that would not be appropriate.
Yeah.
And even so far as like it was that time of like cinematography where if there's a fat dude in a comedy, you can just call him Chubbs.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Like that Chubbs is Chubbs.
They got the one
fucking fatty over here, so we call him Chubbs. His name's Dave, but he's fat, so we call him Chubbs.
And the thing was, that dude was like pretty, like a stand-up dude throughout the whole
super
movie.
nice guy.
Yeah, he
Threw
was
on some slick shades, looked like a really cool guy.
yeah. And then the friend who is like
Styles,
who was like just obnoxious. I'm like, are you okay, man? Why
was
are you trying to
was
do
he
things?
just meant to be Marty McFly
Yeah. Well,
or Ferris Bueller?
because he
Fucking
he
Van
was like a
Wilder.
Ferris Bueller because
Yeah.
he was just doing things just to
Oh,
be bad.
what if you and you go into the closet and have 7 minutes in heaven? It was like, yeah, that sounds great.
That's
Yeah.
another thing, that party
yeah,
scene.
it's that suspension of disbelief of '80s movies where it's
Yeah.
just like everything's awesome and nothing bad could go. Like the fact that he transformed into a werewolf in the middle of a game and everybody's like, "Well, he made a goal. we ain't scared of gold in 3 years. You go, Teen Wolf, you go."
That's the best part of the movie, and we got to talk about that because that's the twist of the movie. You think that it's going to be he turns into a werewolf and it's this thing he struggles with, and then at the end, people find out, and are they going to accept him from who he is? No, that's not this movie. Like halfway through the movie, he's playing basketball and just turns into a werewolf and keeps playing basketball.
Just
and everyone
dunking
just
on
goes with it.
motherfuckers. Yeah.
Everyone just fucking goes with it.
Like looked like a fucking found footage video of like a street ball game. This dude is just like wasting white dudes.
And the rest of the movie is just him playing
It's
basketball.
some homeless dude that's lived on Venice Beach for 30 years, hasn't showered or shaved, and
But he's got
is the
mad
best
ball
at-
skills,
yeah.
dude.
Just straight dunking on fools.
And it goes from a werewolf movie to just a normal ass basketball movie.
So my favorite thing is how you could tell this is such an 80s movie is there's never a scene without music. It's just everything is montage with a song. that somehow fits with what's going on.
And we do have to say this about
with some
the music.
like generically uplifting lyrics.
Yes.
It is so terrible. The music in this movie is so awful. Even at the very end, when he wins, he makes the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
And the crowd erupts, and the movie ends, and the credits roll, and it's just behind, like, while the crowd's erupting, and it's just this somber-ass piano playing. I was like, who the fuck chose this? They had no music budget
it's
for
like
this.
they got like Steve Winwood's cousin to make all the fucking music for the entire thing.
Everything on a recorder is like.
I mean, it does kind of sound like, or like even,
Yeah.
it's like such 80s iconic like that.
It doesn't even. It's nowhere near that good though.
No.
Like it's like a really poor representation of that.
It's like Huey Lewis in the News kind of style.
Even that would be good because that's the
Huey
thing.
Lewis in the spoken word.
It's just. I mean, everything like because I was thinking Back to the Future. You know, we talked about that. Like that music was so good. This is just it like they had no budget at all for it.
I bring up Huey Lewis in the News because of Back to the Future, because this movie and Back to the Future are almost the exact same movie.
Apparently, his house
was only like a couple doors down.
a couple
right?
doors down.
Was
from,
it 3 doors down?
His mom's.
Buck literally just nodded at the comment at my joke and moved on.
I acknowledge that.
What happened? I blacked out. Yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3 doors down from his mom's house in Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
It was the same setting.
So Michael J. Fox in this one plays a down-and-out high school kid that nobody likes and eventually finds its confidence.
Does nobody like him? Because he seems pretty popular. He just can't get the one girl to fuck him. Like, he's got like a good group of friends. He's on the basketball team.
Yeah.
He goes to that party and everybody's giving him high fives and shit when he gets there, even before he's Teen Wolf.
Maybe. I mean, I felt like he was still a little bit more on the nerdy side of things.
He was an awkward kind of
He
unsure.
seems to be
himself.
best friends with the coolest dude in school, which is
Styles. Yeah.
Styles, yeah. But
Which Styles, yeah.
Styles
His life's
has
pretty
that like weird capability to tell anybody to do something at a party and like, fuck yeah, Styles, let's go.
let's go. Yeah. You want me to stick this up my ass right now for everybody? Sure.
good. You eat that goldfish.
Just-
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Well,
I'll eat a
can you
goldfish.
just tell me to do it in a wacky accent?
and the whole crowd. What?
With his fanny pack and his glasses and his 18 jackets he wore.
Oh, his shirts. Here, I wrote them down.
yeah.
One of them said, "Life sucks, then you die." One of them said, "Obnoxious, really big."
What is it?
And
Go to hell, Dick Nose, or something like
Yeah.
that?
What are you looking at, Dick Nose?
What
was
are you
one of
looking
his
at,
shirts.
Dick Nose?
I loved him. That was the
Dude,
best part
and
of him.
that's a great thing because like the difference between this one is Michael J. Fox turns into a werewolf mid basketball game.
Because his dad was a werewolf?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's,
he was
like,
not
that's-
bitten. He was not attacked.
That's, yeah.
It runs in the family.
yeah.
It runs
And
in the
immediately he is 18 times cooler than he ever thought he could be because he's a werewolf.
That's right.
I will say the prosthetics did not look bad.
Honestly, it doesn't. It did look good.
It was just hair everywhere.
Because this
We had
one
the
was a
face
little
stuff
bit
too,
more
yeah.
like Wolfman
Yeah.
rather than werewolf.
Yeah. And I love the implications of the larger world that the movie doesn't explain, but it does hint at. Like, werewolves are just known.
Werewolves
in
are
this.
just people.
No, werewolves are just people.
Yep.
Like, this exists in, like, some sort of larger werewolf cinematic universe.
Like he once again has an issue with the vice principal,
yeah, oh, yeah.
and the vice principal knows his dad and knows that his dad
You're a
is a
slacker.
werewolf. You're a slacker.
What a slacker.
I was waiting for the weird plot twist that like his principal was like a son of Van Helsing or something.
God.
Oh, that would have been...
Did either of you find like the scene where his dad was just playing basketball with Boof?
Really weird. Yeah.
Where they were just like laughing way too hard, kind of play wrestling while they were playing basketball with each other.
What are you laughing about? Don't worry about
Don't
it.
worry about it. It's just weird. It's a joke.
That's the 80s, though, man. They got to
Also,
put that
can we talk
awkward...
about-
Back in the good old days where a grown man could play basketball with a 14-year-old girl and no one would say shit.
Yep. Oh, man.
But can we also talk
Thanks,
about
Obama.
the fact that the love interest's name was Boof.
Yeah.
B-O-O-F.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually based off of a girl he went to the director went to high school with. That was actually her
Was her name
nickname as well.
Boofalina?
No, her nickname was Boof.
Oh.
I mean, is it a worse nickname than Chubbs, dude? Like,
Yes.
Like
I would say for a lady to be named Boof is.
Well,
is
I don't think
weird.
I don't think the Urban Dictionary explanation of what a boof is existed
Oh
at
my
the
god,
time.
is that a thing? That's a
Yeah,
thing.
boofing is when you put stuff up your butthole.
It's
like boofing,
particularly
you like-
cocaine.
Yeah, like you boof some coke.
Oh, okay. Does it come from this movie? Is this
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a deleted scene.
All these drug dealers. Yo, man, you seen Teen Wolf? We're gonna do like they do in that movie. Put the shit up your butthole.
It's like the
How do you think he turns into a werewolf?
Ow!
He lets Boof her.
Oh, Boof got boof.
VH1 storytellers doing the rise and fall of Teen Wolf?
How about when
Felt
he,
some real hard times after high school.
How about when he howls when he loses his virginity?
Oh God.
I just
Oh yeah,
love
just
that.
like fucks that girl, and then she's like, "We're not together."
Yeah.
and it's like, oh god.
I
was in the other room. I was walking away when that happens. I was like, I started like literally in my head. I was like 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it was gonna happen. Like what a fucking low hanging fruit of a joke. I'm gonna go out. Like, this is a bad movie, and I don't know why it's as beloved as it is.
I'm right there with you.
This is not a good movie.
I
It
know
is
why
not.
it's beloved because this is like teen male fantasy is what it is.
There's plenty of other movies in this genre that are better than that.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, well, that's not in this. That wouldn't be a werewolf movie.
No, but it's a 80s.
Well, no, like take the
male
werewolf
teen
thing out of it.
drama.
Like is it every teen male's fancy to become a fucking werewolf?
For me, yes.
I guess. Well, the werewolf thing is just about the athleticism. You know, he became an athlete, is what that was.
And the
you know?
confidence that came
Yeah.
from being super hairy.
and the attention you get and all that stuff, which is I don't know. I watching it again, I was like, man, I don't remember it being like this.
It really sucked because Brando and I were so hard set. We're like, we have to do Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it's like it's a classic.
It's
of
a classic.
course.
It's one of
Yeah.
the best werewolf movies. And after watching it, I was like, oh no.
I feel like I have to explain myself.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch MTV did a Teen Wolf
Went for 3 seasons.
television show?
Oh, it's got Superman on it.
Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin, who is now Superman in Superman and Lois.
I never watched. I think I might have watched the first season, but
I've never seen an episode.
I've never seen it either.
I thought I remembered it being okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what
Probably
it is.
better than the movie.
Well, hopefully. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious,
I,
hopefully.
like Puck said, I prefer the sequel, Airbud.
Is there a Teen Wolf 2?
There is,
Yeah, it's Teen Wolf TOO.
Here's
Yeah.
what I have to say about this. What absolutely redeems this movie, and I think the main reason why people love it is 3 words. Michael J. Fox. That
Right.
dude is just so damn charming.
Yeah, well, even
I
he
just,
hated
I just
the movie.
love him.
That's
I know,
why
but
he
that's,
refused to do the sequel.
but I think if you were to take Michael J.
He's
Fox
like,
out and
Steven
put anyone
Spielberg
else in,
is making movies down the block from here, and I'm sitting here doing this shit. He literally said almost like verbatim that. Like, I think,
Seriously?
yeah, it was something along that lines.
Because he was.
that's
what was
fair.
it?
Fair point, though.
Steven Spielberg in 1985 was doing. What was it?
This is around E.T. was around that time, wasn't it? I mean, you're talking some just incredible films. Like in '85, that had to have been. Well, E.T. was '84.
Okay, so literally it says Michael J. Fight. These silver bullets are killing me. You see what I did there?
Heyo.
You see what I did there? Puck brought tall cans of Coors Light. which are
And
called
of course,
silver
again,
bullets.
we are dressed up as
As
werewolves,
werewolves, yes.
so you need to check out our Instagram.
Michael J. Fox disliked this film so much that he refused to return for the sequel. In an interview in The Times, while Back to the Future 1985 was in production, he lamented Steven Spielberg's down the street making great movies and I'm playing a fucking werewolf.
Yeah.
He didn't say fucking. I added that. but-
Yeah. Okay, so here's the most important thing about this movie.
Yes, hit me with
And
it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but it's the famous dick in the background scene.
That's actually false.
It is not false.
It is false.
No, it's not.
It is
I've seen it.
confirmed false.
No, it is
Yes,
not
it is.
confirmed false.
It
I've
is
seen it with my own
confirmed
eye holes.
false.
Please
I've
just-
seen it.
Please just tell me what it is.
Okay, at the end of the movie, when he makes the shot and the team wins the basketball game and the crowd goes nuts, and it just cuts to all these shots of the crowd cheering and going nuts. At the very end, there's a guy standing there, and I have seen it with my own eyes. They've
Okay.
edited it out.
I'm
man.
looking it up. Teen Wolf Dick.
There's a guy in the
I
top
think that could read as Teen
That's
Wolf
a weird
Dick.
side of TikTok, man.
top left. Yeah, why don't you Google that? Teen Wolf Dick.
Oh, I am.
How many pictures of lipstick are you seeing? So, So in the top left of the screen, dude's on the bleachers.
Penis bomb.
Yeah, and you can't even see like he's only partially in the frame, but he like for a brief second he pulls his dick out.
He's right behind the dad.
No.
Yeah.
So what actually
that is not actually. It is a dick.
It is a female.
It is not.
It is. So if you look in about like 2 minutes earlier, you can see the extra that it is, and it is a female. And the female's apparently her pants were too tight to sit down, so she unzipped them while she was sitting down.
Yeah,
stood
it's
up.
clearly a woman.
No, but there's a dick in it.
No.
No, that's the scene you're talking about.
No,
dude.
there's no
her
dick.
pants are unzipped.
You need to look.
There's no dick.
Look, there's a
All
dick in the. You need to watch the director's
So
cut.
ginger snaps, huh?
Yeah.
There's a dick in the director's cut. I'm
So
telling
anyways, honestly,
it's the ultimate dick cut.
I cannot say you should watch Teen Wolf.
Yeah, we can't. I can't really recommend it.
Yeah, and if you're asking like to yourself right now, like what's so problematic about it, they drop the hard F word multiple times,
and we don't mean
very
fuck.
Row.
Yeah,
and
we're
we
not
don't
gonna
mean
fuck,
fuck.
Yeah, and plus just some of the behavior. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's
it
enough
doesn't
to be
age
like,
well.
Yeah,
it is a product of its time.
Yeah,
which is unfortunately the same thing I'm going to say about the next
movie.
movie.
A bad movie.
Which is Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps. Now we've jumped ahead a few years.
Yes.
This is 2000. So this is that like.
This is a movie that I have never heard of.
Really?
I had never heard of it. Where did you guys even get this one from?
It's on every list. If you Google best werewolf movies, Ginger Snaps is on every one of the lists.
Really?
And I see why. I don't agree, but then again, I am not the target demographic.
On
for this
paper,
movie.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
So essentially, the storyline of this one is there's two sisters in high school. One gets attacked by a werewolf, survives, and she's transforming while the other sister's trying to save her.
It's a slow transformation, though.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't really seem to be based on the moon. Like, she is slowly turning into it.
Yes.
Like it's a permanent transformation.
Yes.
It's not a once a cycle.
It's a curse to become a werewolf.
Well, here's the thing. So this movie is the exact same as Teen Wolf.
Yes.
Except it's from a girl's point of view. So it's werewolfism as an allegory for puberty. And whereas in Teen Wolf, the weird boy, he hits puberty and becomes an athlete and gets attention and is cool. In this one, the girl, she hits puberty and she becomes sexy and she gets attention, but also her body is gross. And there's a lot of like girl body issues that this movie deals with. Like they talk about, because I made the joke about periods,
like when they grow tails.
Yeah.
You know, the things women do.
Yeah, you know, that's everyone.
That's all a part of them
everyone.
having cooties.
Yeah.
It's tails.
It's just fleas.
But this is the werewolf as adolescence, just from a girl's point of view. And it takes it in those directions that are like, it's kind of weird and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sure a lot of people like it, but
yeah, I mean, I know it's hard. I thought the storytelling was good. It was a bit cheesy as far as like dialogue in some ways. You've got like the three bros watching the girls play field hockey, which I don't even know if that's a sport anymore, but like, yeah, run for me, baby. Ooh, that girl's ready to go. And it's like, okay.
But think about it.
That's how guys
So
talk.
in Teen Wolf, the girls act, like the way the girls act is from the point of view of boys. You have the blonde girl, and she's just so sexual and coming on to him and taking her top off, and she, you know. Whereas in this movie, the boys act in a way from the girls' point of view, where they're like these like gross kind of like predators who are like always leering at them and like making comments and whistling at them and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of gross all throughout.
Fair enough.
This movie I had a hard time watching. The first third of it, before like they get into the werewolf attack and the transformation, is so abysmally 2000s.
Yes.
I was texting Puck, and I think I messaged you on Slack a few times, Brando. I was like, I fucking hate this film. Why are we watching it? Because it is just such. We said it about Teen Wolf. It's such a byproduct of its age.
Yeah.
I think it ages better than Teen Wolf.
It does age better
definitely.
than... Yes, it does age.
Because this movie is better than Teen Wolf. Way better.
The problematic stuff in it is not really problematic. I would even
It's not.
say,
I don't.
because
I don't think
it's
there's
from the
anything
view of the
problematic
girl.
about
Yeah, I don't think it's problematic. Yeah.
But it's just like, man, I was like sitting there and like the main sister Bridget, which is the one that isn't turning into the werewolf.
Yeah.
She just is such a bad actress in this movie. All she could do is just stared wide-eyed at everybody like deer in the headlights, and then just go, oh, Mom, really?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
it's that
God.
teen girl angst.
But
I think she nailed a young teenage girl.
Yeah.
this movie totally is the reason why Hot Topic existed.
This is a Hot Topic movie. Yes, it really
this
captures
is the
that feel.
personality of every old girl. Like, I'm not like the other girls.
Yeah, your
I'm
hair
a
in front of your
werewolf.
Suicide
face.
pact. Either we die before 16 or we're together forever.
So the movie starts off with the suicide pact.
Well, it
and-
starts
and-
off with a brutally murdered dog.
Oh yeah, but they have the
Just
suicide
just
pact, and I'm like,
10
what's so
pounds of
bad about
strawberry
your
jelly
life?
in the yard.
But I'm like, what's so bad about your life? Like, you guys you're pretty, you're smart, you have
Were
a
you
nice
ever
family.
a teenager, Brandon?
You have a loving mom that feeds you cake after every single meal?
Were either of you guys teenagers?
I mean,
No. Brando never was a teenager.
I will say
I
the-
transformed into an old man. from a child.
the mom was horrifyingly subdued in all of this.
She was just totally she was
Like, she was ready to like do like some like murder. Like, she found the bodies. Like, we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna drive.
We're gonna burn the house down.
We're not gonna tell your dad. I was like, what the fuck?
I love that. She was ride or die bitch, man. She was
She was so casual the entire time. And then she finds a body in the yard. It's like, all right, we're gonna burn the house down. We're gonna hide some bodies in there, make it look like it was us. But don't tell your father.
I'm gonna fill the whole house with gas.
But the mother was this awkward, supporting, oblivious person. Like, because when she said, "Oh, you had your first period," she was like, "Oh, congratulations! Here's a cake." But it's in front of everyone at family dinner, and it's like, look, you're being supportive and wonderful, but in a super awkward way. Well, you you're so oblivious, you know. And
Well, I
Even
mean,
to the point where they're like,
to that
oh,
point,
hey, they're like, oh, they're trying to like hide a body, and like the mom's like, what's going on? Like, oh, can you tell us what boys want? And it just cuts to like 3 hours later,
Yeah.
and she goes, and that's what boys want.
Pretty
They'll
much all of
say
them.
that they're different, but pretty much they're all the same.
Yeah, it was adorable, but in a just totally misplaced way.
Yeah.
And of course, the dad was awful. The dad just didn't give a shit about anything. He wasn't even a character, really.
Yeah, I think it's a product of the storytelling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's in a probably.
He seemed like the best person in the whole story, honestly.
He was normal.
Yeah.
He was very normal, but like just
Like,
not
all
present.
right.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like he got yelled at all three of them one too many times. Like, fuck it, I'm done. You guys do what you gotta do, because I can't keep watching my daughter keep saying something when I find my daughter pretending to hang herself in the kitchen, and her telling me to get the fuck out of the kitchen, Dad, before I just give up, wipe my hands.
Like, I drive a Dodge Stratus. I make $94,000 a year.
Prius.
So, what do you guys think of the name? The fact that one of the main characters' name was Ginger.
Yeah.
And the pun off the
That,
candy.
honestly, that's what I hate the most about the movie is that stupid fucking pun right there.
Yeah.
So the sister Ginger is the one that turns into a werewolf, and
what
she
does she do,
eventually
Owen?
snaps.
Oh, Ginger Snap. I thought it was a movie about cookies.
Did you know that's also a candy?
It's a cookie, I thought.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's that gross.
So, but also let's talk about the aesthetic of the werewolf at the very end.
Actually,
yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it.
Really?
Look. Brando, you brought it up at the beginning, and I'm right there with you now, where a lot of werewolf movies fail.
Yeah, it's hard to do it well. Yeah.
So there are some things where you could tell where like the elbows were bent, like that latexy, foamy kind of like fat baby crease rollover skin look.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoyed the face and how the werewolf moves.
Why was it so wet?
Yeah.
It was very wet.
Well, it was a very bloody movie all around.
No, it's even like it's like white skin, which is also weird. I guess it's a ginger, so
Yeah.
makes sense.
It doesn't have a soul.
Actually, the whole thing was an allegory for how awful gingers are.
So,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
That's the
Gingers
whole-
are going to destroy good Christian families.
That's what it is. The end. No, I mean, yeah, the monster, because at the very end, she was a full-on werewolf, and it takes the whole movie for her to get there.
Yeah, it's only the last.
There were
5-10
some good
minutes.
horror moments in this movie where
Yes.
when the drug dealer kid gets pulled out of the closet and then he's just getting smashed
yeah.
back into the door, and you can see the door crumpling in.
Yeah.
And even
Like,
later
from
when you
the
see
weight.
him and he's just doing that, like that Terminator 2.
Yeah,
death.
that was pretty good.
The Miles Dyson.
I don't understand how like the one knife killed her at the very end. She jumps on her sister
Right in the heart.
and the knife goes. It just
Right in the heart.
felt too easy.
But you know what? Teen Wolf or American
Part of
Werewolf
me
in
was
London,
hoping that she had also accidentally stabbed her with the needle, and then while she was dying, she would turn back into Ginger.
And
That would have
die.
made way more sense.
That would've
I
been
think
more
that would have been a
tragic, yeah.
much better ending to that.
rather
movie.
than her just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just cuddling
sitting
her.
Well,
between their two
the thing
beds.
is, if you don't transform back into your human form when you die, then we have a full-size werewolf corpse right here that we could parade in front of the entire scientific communion and prove that werewolves exist. You know?
Nah,
So,
fake
like-
news.
Fake news.
You made that.
You know what? The one thing I did love about this movie that I loved was I did love, and it was the heart of the movie, was the dynamic between the sisters. And like they were, because B was a year younger, but she had moved up a grade. She had skipped a grade, so they're in the same grade. But like they had this devotion. They were almost like twins, where they're just constantly together. They're feeling everything together. But then one of them goes through this changes, and the other sister's trying to save her. It's just like that bond and that dynamic between the two sisters. I thought was
I'm
really
sure
cool.
that speaks to you more as a father of two.
Yeah.
daughters.
I was like, I got two girls, and so I'm like, okay, I'm definitely feeling that.
Yeah.
But it was a unique dynamic because, and
Every review I've heard of the movie also speaks to that as making it unique.
Yeah.
In the genre is
yeah.
this dynamic of two sisters and
Yeah.
how close they are. Because usually the werewolf is kind of it's a lone wolf, and it's kind of it doesn't have, like American Werewolf. He has this nurse he's been fucking that wants to save him, and Teen Wolf, I guess his Boof.
Boof. And
But
the
I mean, this one
It's
definitely
boofy.
had a more intimate nature to it, where you had these two sisters that loved each other.
And
very
even
much.
though like the werewolf part wasn't intrinsical to their relationship, like you could tell even before that Ginger was turning into a werewolf, there was already some issues between the sisters.
Yeah.
And this just kind of escalated it,
Yeah.
but you could still see that there was love.
the cracks there.
Yeah, and they
Well,
wanted
yeah, I mean,
to take care of one
how
another.
far B went for her too,
Yeah.
like, and then what like helped her cover up all these horrible things.
Yeah.
And like, watches her kill the janitor,
She kills the janitor.
kills the
She infects the dude via sex because apparently lycanthropy is an STD.
Oh,
She
yeah.
starts pissing blood.
Yeah.
And she goes in and like saves that guy. But it just goes to show the links.
I gotta go to class.
I'm turning into a vampire. I gotta go. Or a werewolf. Yeah, but it's just the links that she'll go to be there for her sister.
Yeah.
Even though her sister is going through this awful change
And is
is
such
doing these
a
awful
dick.
things. Yeah, but
The
it's like
entire, even before she's a werewolf, she was a
she's
dick.
pretty-
I love
pretty
you even
awful.
though you're becoming an asshole.
So,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And she's like, "Fuck you!" It's like, no, I still love you. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's cool.
So it's very much in that regard still an allegory for puberty.
Yeah. I mean, again, that was that puberty thing. Yeah.
Teenagers are dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my older sister's getting attention from boys and is now being all boy crazy, and she knows it. And I'm still the awkward hair in front of my face, like, and that was a cool dynamic there.
What was that teen high school show? Daria?
Daria.
Daria.
La,
The-
la, la, la,
yeah,
la.
Bridget looked like Daria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so-
Bridget looked like the boyfriend from Gravity Falls.
Dude, fucking, you know what? Mentioning Daria, because I wanted to say this movie, the biggest mistake of this movie was not having like appropriate music in it, because
There
this
was no music
also
in it.
had
Like a
awful
2000s
music.
alt-rock.
Yeah, if you have like late 90s
Like
rock
Three Doors
music,
Down?
Yeah, what is this? You keep saying this. Are you a big Three Doors Down fan? or something?
Dude, I'm all about that Kryptonite.
Are you really?
Can't name another song from
Okay.
them, so
I mean, I'm not gonna hate on you, but anyway. But that was a huge missed opportunity, like, because in Daria,
it
they had
didn't
the
seem like they had a
period
very
of-
large budget in the first place.
Yeah,
so
that
for
was,
sure.
That was
fucking
why. yeah.
buying all these songs.
Man, that would have been
Probably
great,
would
though.
not have done that movie very much.
Like if it was like The Craft, if you've seen
man,
that,
yeah.
that's. In fact, we'll probably talk about that in our witch episode.
more than likely. But we got to move on to another one. We usually do like 3 movies, but there is something new that legitimately just came out
Yes.
that we need to talk about, and I'm not kidding you, it's probably my favorite of all the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. And majority of people didn't even know about it. Puck even texted me. He didn't even know about it.
It came out of nowhere. Yeah.
It is Marvel's own Werewolf by Night.
In the MCU.
It is an
Werewolf
MCU.
On Disney Plus. Like, that just came out. And it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like, it was fantastic.
Like, very, very good noir style, like, classic Boris Karloff style.
Yeah. The Wolfman, like the original 1940s.
Very like paced horror movie with that very, like, I saw it multiple times where, like, it would be dark. It had that who's the mom from the Addams Family? Morticia, where it has just the lighting on their eyes.
The shadowing.
And everything else is in shadow.
Yeah.
So really, really, really fucking
a lot
cool.
of old school techniques like this.
Very cool show.
Yeah, it is.
And what I really liked about this, and we'll get into some stuff, but it just came out, so I'm gonna say spoilers. Like we're a spoilers podcast, but this just came out, so I'm gonna say now, if you haven't seen Werewolf by Night, stop the podcast. Go watch it. It's only 50.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
Yeah, it's.
All right, so you watched it now.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
Cool. And we're back.
It's only 50 minutes long. It's one single extended episode.
It's not a movie. It's not a TV show. It's just
a mini movie,
a little short. Yeah,
and it's fantastic.
One of the better things I think Marvel's done in a while.
So
This was such a cool one-off thing for them to do,
and stylized,
and it's better. I liked it better than Thor.
Yeah,
I liked it better than Doctor Strange.
Well, you can tell they're having fun with the Marvel property. They're like, wait a minute, we got all these monsters.
Yeah,
let's do a monster thing.
Yeah,
and
let some cool people do some cool shit.
And it was fun. And they brought in. I mean, so
look, before we get into it, essentially the storyline is
that
well, if you've watched it.
Yeah, you should know, but here it is. if you don't care about the spoilers, is essentially that there is a group of hunters,
like monster hunters.
So they're hunting vampires, werewolves,
they're hunting a lot of things.
Yes.
And
the leader of this group dies.
Ulysses Bloodstone.
Yes.
Oh, a wonderful name.
Great name. And so then they bring all the hunters together, and they're going to have a big, great hunt.
Yeah.
And whoever survives or gets the Bloodstone becomes the next leader.
And the Bloodstone is a wonderful, MacGuffin.
Yes.
It's just awesome.
And that's the story. It takes place in
the
a single
only thing
night.
that's color in the whole episode.
So cool. That red, blood red, and everything else is black and white.
Gray tone. Yeah.
Which, you know what? So this is actually a very bloody little story here.
It is extremely graphic.
Because
way more so than you would think.
Yeah.
Way more than any Marvel movie. But because it's in black and white, they can get away with that because of that.
That's true.
Because I remember
even there was a point where there was a blood splatter that literally went on the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
When he was attacking some of the guards.
But it's not bright red, so it doesn't get you in trouble.
I guess we can kind of just walk through this one real quick. So they all show up, and you have these kind of like interesting, like expositional style characters, but they really don't give you a lot.
No.
You've got this sort of like very Slavic looking woman in this like white leather suit, looks like David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
And like you got like the big
her name is Azrael.
The big brash guy is like, the
Scottish guy. Yeah.
I like the ape. I like the eye paint. Yeah. It looks very good on you.
They had the Puck character.
Yeah, and then they got the Asian dude with like the face tattoos.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool black guy. Fucking like all these characters, like they don't really explain, but
and then
it's
the small little subtle guy.
Yeah. But in the minimal interactions you get in that first like 10-15 minutes, you understand everything you need to know about.
That's all you need.
Characters.
I don't need all their backstories.
It's great, quick exposition. And then they throw you like the curveball. So you have the wife, you have the estranged daughter, and you have that quick dialogue that sets up that she abandoned Ulysses. Like what a fucking meal of a name, Ulysses Bloodstone.
Oh yeah.
And then she pops the guy starts doing a little hand crank.
Oh
and
yes.
Ulysses Bloodstone
the best
comes
part
out
of the whole show.
Nice, looking like an
Chuck E.
animatronic.
Cheese.
His corpse is an animatronic thing, and he's talking about the hunt.
He's got like a pre-recorded thing, and his mouth is just moving like a fucking
coffin opens up, and the guy's just cranking and animating his body.
What was the pun at the end? I'll be.
Oh yeah, he ends it with a pun. Your final words to the world is a fucking pun. I don't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, but then they all go into the maze where the beast has been released, and the beast has the bloodstone attached to it
To make it crazy
to make it slightly weaker as well. And they all follow Flaming Tuba Man into
which
is literally his name in the credits is Flaming Tuba,
which was just awesome. They didn't explain that at all.
It's like the dude from Mad Max like playing the guitar. It's like what a weird
and you
contribution.
see it and you're just like, fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'm with
it's
that.
It's like one of those like sort of like worlds where they just like have cool touches that they don't explain.
It just exists in this world.
It builds the world in your imagination.
Yes.
And then they all go in, they start fucking with each other. Dudes get like one guy gets his hand chopped off, gets shot in the neck.
Well, then there's the big twist about the monster.
So the monster is Man-Thing, is what it's called,
which is
a Cthulhu-esque monster
in appearance, kind of.
Well, yeah, but he's even like underneath. Like you could tell he comes from the ocean because he has like barnacles and seashells on him.
He's a plant-based,
and his name is Ted.
Ted.
His name is Ted. He and Swamp Thing came out at the same time.
1971. I looked him up.
He is considered to be plants. So Ted got his powers in the Florida Everglades.
Yeah, it was something to do with the super soldier serum. Also, he had taken it, and it was
that was it.
Oh,
yeah, he was working. It had
gone wrong.
He was working on a similar. He was part of the program. I think he was a later stage of the super soldier serum thing,
and it didn't go well.
And he was he was being there was someone coming there to steal it, and he swallowed the formula to protect it and fled into the Everglades.
Yeah.
And then became this
the
metaphysical man thing.
And he has a connection to the greater life, which it's almost identical
what's the line
to
about his touch? It's like, all who fear evil, or all who are evil fear the touch of man thing.
Yeah.
Which is like literally, I mean, you see him when he touches someone that's afraid of him, they literally just he just crushes them into fucking.
Yeah, it's like Ghost Rider level. Like
it's
just
almost
emulates
like they catch on fire or acid or something.
Yeah,
like,
it just completely burns them alive.
So I wasn't familiar with this character, but I am familiar with Swamp Thing, and I was like, dude, what a ripoff! But it did come out the exact same year.
Yeah,
and it is almost the same character.
So, anyways, eventually, what you find out is the main character, Jack Russell, is a werewolf.
He's more the small, subtle guy.
Yeah, and he ends up like he's faking being who he is.
And the man thing is not a monster. He's like a dude, and he frees him.
Yeah, and it ends up being he's a werewolf. Things ensue, and then eventually, there is a fucking fight scene at the end of this
when he werewolves out,
where he werewolves out, and oh my god, I cannot believe they got away with it. I understand we said that because it's black and white, but how fucking gruesome
it is. The most violent thing I think on Disney Plus, or at least the most violent thing.
They've put out themselves. I think it would be one of the more violent things because I mean like they have like the original Daredevil stuff on like Disney Plus now too, but that wasn't produced by them.
That was more like gritty, but this is more.
Well, no, it was hyper violent,
like a monster just ripping people apart,
just ripping throats,
and it was awesome. It was fantastic. Like it was, and even his creature design, he's more of the wolf man instead of like wolf, where he's just like a hairy dude with kind of a snarly face. But man, the design was fantastic, especially for the tone and vibe of this. And when he freaked out and started killing those dudes, it was great.
I love the scene when he's about to be transformed into the werewolf by the Bloodstone, and he wants to save Elsa, the daughter of Ulysses.
Oh yeah, he starts like smelling
and he like grabs her, is like rubbing her.
Scent.
Yeah, and it's all about trying to get her scent on him so he doesn't go crazy on her
and doesn't kill her.
Yeah, it's like make sure you have to make eye contact. You have to unbreak in eye contact.
Yeah.
I did love that, like cinematically wise, when he first transforms and he grabs what's her face and is like, my hand, and they all start like zapping him.
Verusa.
And it turns into like this big kind of like smoke cloud inside of it, and you can see like little flashes of light inside of it over top the whole thing.
Oh jeez.
I thought that was a sound effect.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought that like really was like a cool thing, and then like the smoke settles and you see the top of the cage has been ripped open.
So question for you both on that. Did either one of you think that the security guards were
like TVA? Yeah, I thought
they
that
started
too.
coming out. I was like, is this part of the TVA? Like, what's going on? Because they had like very similar kind of that like futuristic plastic armor look.
Yeah.
They
And then
very,
even
very much look
and
like
even
a
had like the
TVA.
electrocution sticks.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just cutting corners on the budget.
I think
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
I did like the part of the you have like polar opposites in cinematography where like the opening is the rising of the gate to reveal him as a man, and then while he's attacking everybody and he's been
going down.
he's been turned into Wolfman. It's like there's no escape now. You're stuck, and then you
Yeah.
see the door shutting.
Yeah.
Well, we got to mention the transformation scene, because the transformation in this scene I thought was brilliant because it's the silhouette on the wall behind the woman
Right.
who's watching
You
it
can
happen,
see-
and so you see this jerky, wild silhouette, but
that was cool.
But the focus is her reaction to it,
Yeah.
and he's off screen. You don't actually see him, but you see her reaction. She's
Which
horrified.
is a throwback to like a lot of the older actual black and white films where they're like we didn't have the technology to do
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff or anything like that, so they had to do some way of making it look weird.
It goes
and
back to what I
different.
was saying too about like with American Psycho,
American Werewolf in London,
where he's reacting to his own hand changing,
Yeah.
like seeing the human reaction rather than seeing like a CGI transformation.
Yep.
Or like that is also, if not more often, more impactful than seeing the actual
absolutely, yes,
because you can identify with someone's reaction to something
yeah,
more than.
because that transmit the emotion out of the screen, and
Right.
you're feeling that,
And you're still
just like,
seeing it in the background in this very jarring, snapping way where it's just the flashes of the taser guns that they have on this guy. And he's slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger on the screen.
I love too, and what I want more of is all of the monsters that were mounted on the wall that they had killed, and they kept
That was really cool.
I loved the creature design, but apparently there's vampires, there's Bigfoot, there's gremlins
That the bloodstone's taking all of them down.
yeah, and it's like, dude,
I was
I want to
curious
know
about
more about
Jack's-
these guys.
Jack did say something like one of the guys was like, "Are any of these hacked beasties on the wall you're doing?" He's like, "No, but I did go a few rounds with that guy." And
Yeah.
he points at the vampire.
And it looks incredible.
And that vampire is a lot more the traditional like Dracula style, where
Yeah, like the
if he transforms
vampire
a
bat vampire,
into
yeah.
it,
It's a Batman.
A Batman.
Yeah, it's a man bat.
a man bat.
Yeah.
There we
Man
go.
bat.
Dude, honestly, like we need to get into trivia, but we keep gushing about this
Definitely check it out.
movie. 100%, you need to check it out.
Are there any other werewolf movies we need to mention before? Because I saw the trailer for Werewolves Within,
Yes.
which just came out I think this year.
No, 2020.
Okay, so it's newer.
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it, but it looks good, and
Love
I'm
it.
going to watch it.
So I Werewolf Within is a movie that I very much enjoy. Like we said, it's a modern movie, and the general idea is that there's this park ranger that moves into like a secluded town in Alaska.
And he's the dude who is the shop owner from Hocus Pocus 2.
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2, so
Yeah,
It's,
he's
the
one of
Ranger is he's a
old SNL guy.
prominent actor.
Yeah, he's
I
a
think
famous
you should
comedian.
leave.
Yes. Yeah, he's in I Think You Should Leave Too.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Anyways, the town gets snowed in. Chaos ensues. People start dying. It's a very much a comedy horror.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. It's done really well. The twist is good. Yeah, it's.
I mean,
100%.
there's the Jack Nicholson movie Wolf,
yeah.
which I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's Benicio del Toro Wolfman.
And there's
with,
Wolfman,
yeah.
with, Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, is he the?
He's his father.
He's
isn't he?
Van Helsing.
Oh, okay. Is he? And he just keeps showing. It's the Van
He's
Helsing
just always Van
cinematic
Helsing,
universe.
yeah.
Yeah. But there's a few movies that I haven't seen. Also, I just realized there's a lot in the werewolf genre I haven't seen. I wasn't familiar with. So
Yeah, there's so many different ones, but honestly, majority of them are not. What was one you said you watched that was utterly terrible? It Comes at Night.
After midnight.
After Midnight, yeah.
And it wasn't. It turned out to be not even a werewolf. It was just so stupid.
Oh, okay.
There was one called The Wolf of Snow Hollow,
Okay.
which a lot of people liked, and I couldn't finish. But apparently, it's good. So give it. But it's more of an indie film where like you're not going to see anything till the end, sort of thing.
There's another one as well that I really liked. It's an indie film. I don't think a lot of people saw it, but it's called Underworld.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not ringing a bell.
Oh, what's her name? Kate
Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Or honestly, even the Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing, I 100%.
I would consider that. Like I mean, like the werewolf is a big part of the story.
Yeah.
It's obviously a little bit more focused on.
Well, Van
him
Helsing
and-
is a werewolf. That's a twist right there.
Well, he becomes one voluntarily to defend.
Yeah.
Or to defeat Dracula. And you've also got Frankenstein in it.
That movie's it's so cheesy, and the special effects are so bad at some point. Like, it's that era of like computer graphics.
I rewatched it the other day. I didn't think it looked that bad.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that movie like I enjoyed The Mummy.
Yeah,
It's just a fun action movie
right there with you.
yeah.
with like a cool world building aspect to it.
Speaking of, I mean, so Universal was going to do a monster.
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Like the MCU.
They had,
I mean, that's why they rebooted The Mummy with
Because
Tom
they own
Cruise.
Universal owns the right to all of these things, and honestly, I think that's an awesome idea. But but then they had to make the Mummy with the Tom Cruise and stuff. I'm like, no, do the Brendan Fraser Mummy and make a universe out of that.
I just don't know why everything needs to be a universe, right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just have
because
a standalone?
money, Owen.
But
okay.
whole monster hunting and thing like that'd be cool. There's some cool ways to go with that.
Yeah, I just don't want all suddenly
mean,
to be a movie
fucking
where it's
Marvel became the most-
Monster Avengers.
We're putting
where
a team
it's
together.
Swamp,
Yeah.
Frankenstein,
Well,
Werewolf,
No,
Swamp
it's
Thing,
Brendan Fraser and Van Helsing
and Jet Li.
and Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
Teen Wolf.
Well, so when Marvel started making more money than some countries, everybody was like, well, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah. But it didn't work, so never mind. We'll never see it.
All right. Well, anyways,
Big bummer. It's trivia time. Who said that?
Brando,
Hello.
I was signaling to him.
Where's the
entire
wheel of
time.
shame?
It should be right at your feet. No, I was trying to
Is
signal to
is
Brando the
Jägermeister
entire
still
time
on
that
there?
he. No, we took that off.
No.
Yeah,
What about body shots?
no, body shots is also off.
Oh my gosh.
I was
know why
trying
I
to signal
come
to Brando to
anymore.
grab it, and he was too busy jamming out to this. So, Brando, last week, you lost 0-1. So I am in the lead. So, Brando, once again, you have to spin the wheel of misfortune.
Well, I'm putting my mask on so you can get this. I just love that my glasses fit over my werewolf
So
mask.
bad. It's so bad. I love it.
I look like the dad
All right.
from Teen Wolf.
All
So
right,
check
go-
out our
yeah.
Instagram to see this dumb shit. All right, here we
Go
go.
ahead and give us a spin. Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
All
Is that a
right.
hot sauce shot?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
All right. We will be right back. All right. So we are back. Brando,
I got my hot sauce shot.
you got your hot sauce. So this hot sauce is the Helios Network's own Into the Spicyverse, which was a habanero-based hot sauce I made for our
you
barbecue.
went with the habanero?
Yeah.
Oh my God! See you later, dude.
All right. I thought you said it wasn't that spicy, Brando. All right, go for it, Brando. Or whatever. Oh, you did the
my
whole
God.
thing.
Oh, what a fucking man!
Jeez.
It's so bad.
Puck, didn't you say at the barbecue it wasn't that bad?
I didn't want to drink a whole fucking shot of it.
I got the hiccups now.
Oh, this is gonna make trivia so much
Holy
better.
shit, buddy.
You okay?
I'm fine.
that was mean.
Anyways, it was like 50% the hot sauce, 50% water to make
I have real ass hiccups now.
it. All right, Puck, go ahead and give us our first trivia question.
Okay, let me just get back to my shit here.
Oh fuck.
All right, we'll go in order. So we'll start with American Werewolf in London.
All right.
American Werewolf in London was the first movie to win this award at the Oscars.
Ooh.
I think I know.
Okay, I think I know this one too. Brandon, you ready?
Yeah.
You were wiping sweat off yourself.
My
Yeah,
mustache.
all that hair probably doesn't feel as good right now.
My
does it?
mustache is sweating.
All right, are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Special
Visual effects.
Best makeup.
Oh, darn it!
It was the category was created that year.
So here's my thing. I would say we were right.
No, that's a different category.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Either way, I would say we.
I
both
think
answered the
visual
same
effects
thing.
actually became expanded into visual effects later. I think the original title of it was best makeup.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the first year it was created.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, it 100% deserves it. It was insane. We talked about it.
And
already.
there's that brief flash where he's having a nightmare and he looks like a monster, like with a gray face.
All right, question 2.
Wow. Bring it to me, Puck.
David Naughton, the main character, is an actor. His name is David Naughton. Lost a job with this company for his nude scenes in American Werewolf in London.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna have to guess on this. With this, lost a job with this company. Can we get like a hint or something?
No.
All right. I got an answer.
Brand. I mean, like when I said company, I meant.
Oh, brand?
He had a job. He was the spokesperson for a brand. That's your hint.
Okay.
Okay. I think I have a guess.
3, 2, 1. Wheaties.
Coca-Cola.
You were closer. Dr. Pepper.
Oh, shit.
He had some commercial where he was like, "I'm a pepper," and they dropped them after his nude scenes.
Yeah. My second guess was going to be the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Mine was going to be Disney.
We need to hurry this up, guys. I gotta go.
All right. So speaking of David Naughton's nude scenes,
David Nuttons.
He was
Be
naked a
straight
lot in
nuttin'.
this movie, yeah.
between his transformation scene, dream sequences, all that, John Landis, the director, had to avoid filming any full frontal nudity of him for this reason.
I know the answer to this one.
I know. I think I know.
Okay.
Is it? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. I definitely know the answer to this
So
one.
he had to avoid full frontal nudity.
Yes.
Was it, or else they would have gotten like an X rating?
No, it is because traditionally the character was written as Jewish and the actor had an uncircumcised penis.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's dead on. That's exactly
Wow.
what it is.
This is why I fucking drink hot sauce right here. Your fucking dick knowledge is just
Yeah.
unbeatable.
Not an informed Landis that he was uncircumcised.
I am a dictologist.
You were ready to crash me down.
Oh,
that
100%.
That Teen Wolf dick trivia too.
It had to do with Judaism. I'm a Jew. What do you expect?
I swear I saw a dick in that movie though.
Nope.
I swear I'm gonna bring it up.
You're thinking of the end of Teen Wolf, which actually didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It
Yeah,
didn't
the movie
happen.
didn't end.
All right.
All right.
1-0. Here we go.
All right. So, Scott is played by Michael J. Fox, age 23. So all these actors are playing in high school. Of that group of friends and actors in that, who was the oldest actor in Teen Wolf?
Ooh, of the kids,
The dad.
the young,
definitely the dad, the
of
vice
the high
president.
school students, I suppose.
I'm like debating between two.
So Michael J. Fox was the youngest at 23.
Okay.
I have a,
Bonus points if you can tell me your guess, and then also if you can guess how old the person was.
I don't know the character's name, but I have a guess.
Okay. So
There's two right answers. They're tied for the same age. So
Okay.
you have two options.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. Because I'm guessing.
I'm guessing too, but I have a guess.
All right. I'm gonna guess just because it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna guess Boof, and she was 26.
And my guess is like his bully, like the guy who
Pamela's boyfriend. The
The-
one,
yeah.
yeah.
the
Okay.
cheerleader's boyfriend. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how old do you think he was?
Oh, I'm gonna say 27.
2 points to Brandon.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Wow.
So
And he was 27.
he was 27, and the tie for him was Styles.
Styles was my other guess.
Oh. okay.
Styles was also 27.
I just felt like I had to go with
Jeremy.
something that didn't make sense. Like obviously, like Boof looks really young, but I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, next one.
Okay.
2-1, Brando, you're winning.
Hell yeah.
Are
so,
those pit stains? No, I'm kidding.
This is my werewolf
Michael
shirt.
J. Fox
These pit stains.
co-starred in Family Ties with Justine Bateman as brother and sister. She has and I'm gonna guess you're probably gonna guess her brother's name very quickly. But what is his I guess attachment to the movie Teen Wolf?
What is Justine Bateman's brother as attachment to Teen Wolf?
So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we all
Wow.
know the brother.
Jason Bateman
Jason Bateman.
from Arrested Development.
Yes.
Okay.
Ozark.
And and
Juno.
he is attached to Teen
Horrible
Wolf in
Bosses.
some way. Oh, wow. Well,
All right, I have an idea.
I have a guess.
Okay. Brando, go first on this one.
Is he married to Boof?
I'm going to guess that, did he play Teen Wolf in the sequel?
Point to Owen.
Oh!
Jason Bateman would go on to star in Teen Wolf 2.
Nice.
Okay, wow.
That was a good trivia
that was-
question
yeah.
right there. That was good.
So tied 2-2 right now.
Oh.
This one, this one I'll give you as many points. There's a lot. So for some reason, in the mid 1980s, there was a huge boon of werewolf films. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that all came out within the 80s.
11 werewolf movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I will give you a point for any of them that you can name outside of the ones that we are talking about.
Okay, so you can't say American Werewolf in London, and you can't say
Teen Wolf 2 or
Teen
Teen
Wolf
Wolf
2.
All right.
One of them is a franchise.
American Werewolf in Paris.
No, we're not attached to the
Oh,
films
okay.
we're
Oh,
talking
not
about.
even-
yeah.
okay, not even
It's
sequel, okay.
separate.
All right. Now
I'm trying to go through the list of all the werewolf movies we talked about.
I have one. The Howling.
Point.
All right.
Okay. Dog Soldiers.
No.
I don't suppose I can get a point for The Howling 2, can I?
If you can give me the full title.
I don't know it. It's right on the edge of my brain because it's something famous, right? Isn't it? It's like The Howling 2, The Revenge or something. That's the Jaws.
The Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf.
You just made that up. There's no way that's
That's
real.
what it says.
Oh man, I'm trying.
Oh man.
The Werewolf.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Not the Wolfman was like that was Benicio del Toro was like way later.
Yeah, that was 2010.
Shit, dude. Isn't there one called like Curse? Like isn't it just like The Curse? Am I not?
Isn't that Christina Ricci like mid 2000s movie?
I was just trying to give you guys a hint, but you guys want to stop? Move on?
Bad Moon.
No.
Bad Moon's. Oh, is that,
It's not on my list. Sorry.
is that maybe that's in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking while dancing. I don't know. What that's what it looked like you were doing right there.
Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet. Okay. All right, Brenda, you get a point. What's some other ones?
Wolfen, The Howling, Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, Full Moon High, Teen Wolf 2, The Company of Wolves, The Howling 3,
Werewolf Cop.
Silver Bullet, and An American Werewolf in London.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah.
Does the Howling 3 not have a fun subtitle?
Apparently it doesn't.
Oh wow.
All right, Brando, you are winning 3-2 right
All
now.
right.
All right.
So-
All right, that's the end. All right. Well, thank you for being here.
All right, I've got nothing for Ginger Snaps, so we're gonna go into a Werewolf by Night.
Not surprisingly,
That's
okay
fine.
with that.
Okay.
Surprisingly not.
In a Werewolf by Night, when they show the coffin of Ulysses Bloodstone, there is a message on the back of the coffin. What does it say?
Oh
There's
wow.
a message on the back of the coffin.
It circles around the whole coffin, and while it's going around the back, there's a clear message that's written on the back.
It says this end up, and there's an arrow pointing
That's
towards his
pretty
head.
good.
Yeah. I don't know at all. I didn't notice this one at all.
What?
You're right.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
It says this end up?
It says this end up.
What? I was joking. I was serious. That's why I was.
I didn't even get a chance to answer. This way up.
You were gonna go for it.
I was
You
not. I was
laughed
gonna
at his joke. That's why I was like, "Fuck it, yeah."
Yeah,
you got it right.
I had something else to say,
That
but
was
I guess not.
100% joke, and I
Wow.
will take the point.
4-2.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Why am I not surprised? Puck's here. Of course, he's going to try to help you win.
That one was easy. Both could have gotten. All right, so Kerry Jones is the actor that plays Man-Thing, a.k.a. Ted. He has previously played a character in another Disney franchise.
Okay.
On Disney Plus. Not specifically, I'm saying the whole universe.
Not MCU?
In Disney.
It's in Disney.
In Disney.
But it's a non-MCU thing.
Well, Marvel is Disney. I'm being broad, so you can probably interpret that I'm saying it's not in Marvel. But
Okay. Well. Okay.
I'll tell. He was in Star Wars.
Ooh, okay.
He was in the Star Wars world in a Disney Plus series as an actor.
Oh, man. Now I'm going through my list of like big creatures in Star Wars.
Okay. I actually think I think I know this.
I haven't seen Andor. What is the?
I don't think it's Andor. I'm gonna tell you that I don't think it is, but I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm going off something else.
Okay, you go first. I have a guess.
Okay, I'm gonna guess he was the mocap for the Rancor in Boba Fett.
My guess is he was in The Mandalorian. He was like the big Mandalorian guy.
Wasn't that?
That was also Boba Fett.
Well, no, the big Mandalorian wasn't that played by
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau?
Yeah,
was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was.
We talked about that on the Boba Fett episode.
So he was the Black Wookiee.
Oh shit!
Yeah, from the Mandalorian
Boba Fett.
or from Boba Fett. Yeah. Well, Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
Cranston or something like that. Cranston.
Black Cranston.
Oh, I should.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Bubba, we gotta cook.
No
I am the
why
one
he
who
was
knocks.
in his tidy whities the entire season of Boba Fett.
They need to put briefs on that Wookiee.
All right, I got
his
one more.
spaceship is a Winnebago.
But also, Bryan Cranston is just as hairy as a Wookiee.
That's fair. Yeah, I've seen Malcolm.
The scene where he's making the pancakes.
Nothing wrong with body hair. That's one thing this episode has established. Nothing wrong with body hair.
What are we at?
Brando has 4. I have 2.
Damn. All right. Well, you can't win, but you can come close.
All right.
That sounds like my sex life.
I got one more question. So, we have the opening scene to Werewolf by Night. The door's open. He's walking down in the hall into the main rotunda, and there is murals and paintings all along the wall on the hallway in. And he passes by one that specifically references a MCU villain. Which villain?
Oh, it's a mural. See, I just remember the mounted monsters that were mounted on the walls. One of the murals and it references a villain. And it's a villain we've seen in a movie. It's a villain we've seen in the movie?
MCU, yeah.
Okay. Oof. What are the villains? I'm trying to think like who would be.
I haven't
specifically. It's almost cut straight out of the comic book, but it is specifically referencing a villain.
It's a villain we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Who would?
That's where I'm confused.
Yeah.
So like I'm going to talk it through.
I'm not saying
I'm going to talk myself through it because we're a podcast. We should probably just keep talking.
Yeah.
And rather just making sounds.
I'm thinking like it's not like Red Skull or.
So my feeling is it has to be something in Loki because
Excuse me,
there's
sorry.
a whole part where there's like they talk about vampires in Loki in the TVA with Morbius and Morbius.
Yeah.
Mobius and Mobius.
Yeah. Oh, is it Morbius?
It's not. No, that's because Morbius is.
And it's because because I remember.
Oh shit!
Because he's standing at the thing and he's holding up his thing, and the quotation at the bottom is "It's Morbin time."
It's Morbin time.
And that's when he morbs into Morbius the vampire.
Does he actually say that in the movie? I don't get where this joke comes from.
Doesn't.
No.
He doesn't. It's an internet thing because the movie's so terrible.
Yeah.
We paid to see that in theaters, man.
Yeah. Puck, when we were talking about vampire movies, I was shooting pool with him, and he's like, "Oh, he's gonna pull up a list of like the greatest vampire movies of all time." and it like the list was legit, but the number one movie was Morbius as a fucking joke. I had a good chuckle. Fuck it, I'm gonna go Morbius.
I'm gonna say Venom.
Gore the God Butcher.
What? Really?
So I didn't say that this made any sense to the MCU as a whole.
All right.
They literally just did it as an Easter egg. So I'll show you. Like that's the mural, and if you scroll right, it'll show you the picture from the comic book of Gore the God Butcher.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it's him in a scene
It's straight up out of the comic.
It's the comic book version of Gore, not the Christian
terrible
Bale version,
MCU version.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
And I think it was more of like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing. Just fun for the animators and the set designers.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made a little wink there.
All right.
I'm surprised it wasn't Morbius. They didn't want to tie into that movie for some reason.
I have a fun trivia question. Brando, you have one. It's 4-2. You have one. You're welcome.
Congratulations, Brandon.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
I lost on purpose. I'm saying that for the record.
Don't you take that victory from me.
So I have a fun trivia question.
Okay.
About
get to
Werewolf
answer
by
it?
Night. Yeah, you can answer it too. You probably actually know the answer to this.
Okay.
The director made it was his directorial debut, first time ever directing a movie, and it was Michael. I'm gonna butcher his last name like Gore. Giacchino.
Sound it out.
Giacchino?
I don't know.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino. Sure.
Okay. And he directed Werewolf by Night.
He directed, and he has been a part of Disney for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Can you name why or how and what movies he was a part of?
I got no idea.
He's been a part of Pixar, hasn't he?
Yeah, Pixar, Disney.
Yeah. But I mean, wasn't he doing like Toy Story and stuff?
So I'll just say
or Finding Nemo and stuff.
You're close enough. So he has actually been a huge composer for Disney and for Pixar for a long time. So Rogue One, he was a composer for Rogue One.
Nice.
Ratatouille.
He's just a talented motherfucker.
Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. He
Nice.
was he did music for that. Doctor Strange. Some of the Lego stuff he's done. The Lost World, Toy Story of Terror. Like, this dude has been a part of Disney for so long and has got so much cred. They're like, you know what? You're really good at composing music.
Giacchino. I think that's the way you would pronounce that.
Yeah, Giacchino.
That looks right.
Why not let him film something? And it was his entire vision. He goes, I want to be black and white. I want to do kind of original horror. I want to do this. I want to do that.
And he's got a future because it was fantastic. I haven't seen any of the audience response to it yet, though.
He was involved in the Batman. He was involved in Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
But I mean, it's brand new, so I haven't seen how it's being received. I hope it's being received well.
I'm pulling up on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
It's got a really good.
Okay, good,
reviews.
good. I'm glad to see that then. Like, I'm glad we're not the only podcast on the internet.
Holy shit! It has a 93% audience score and a 91% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I don't know how you could really poke holes in that. I think it's a really, really well executed thing from front to back.
Yeah, and it's straight and to the point too. Yeah. It is what it is.
It's a love note to classic cinema that it does very, very well. It doesn't over exposition its characters. It allows you to build the world around itself. And it has a few moments of humor, some very dark moments, and it ends very, very very well buttoned up, but still open ended.
Well, I gotta say, Werewolves. You know, this Spooktober season, we're looking at Halloween. The classic, the OG, the werewolf monster. I had fun. Looking through the movies. I had fun watching these movies. Even
the first time I've actually had to watch movies before we got together. Usually, it's okay, I kind of know what I'm talking about. But half the movies we talked about, I hadn't seen. Actually, all three of the movies we talked about besides this, I hadn't seen. I literally watched every single one before this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a good time. And
what a treat.
Puck, is always, you are a treat. You're a little snack. You're a little treaty snack.
You're a little pumpkin I'd like to smash.
You're our very own werewolf. Okay, they're giving eyes to each other right now. I'm just gonna bow out.
It was a joke because all three of us went to go see Smashing Pumpkins last night.
Gosh, I had such a great time, man. I loved it. Oh my gosh,
who doesn't love inside jokes for a podcast?
Yeah, I know. Just the only three of us get. So, Puck, how are we gonna find you online? Be friends with you?
Don't.
Well,
right,
thank you so much for coming to this.
Puggy Terhawk, PCKY_TERRAHAWK. Also follow Owen and I have a little DJ thing that we do too, but I guess do we do that on this or no?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Puck and I, we started DJing together. We're now the Super Smashed Bros.
Oh, I love it.
And we're actually, funny enough, for this Halloween, we're DJing together and we're dressing up as Mario and Luigi.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have an Instagram too, Super Smash Shows _ between all the words.
And Puck does a great job. He pulls like scenes from like classic TV shows or like cinema, and then we'll put music over it. And it's like people dancing to like modern music. It's fucking hilarious.
And you got to come out, because I've been to Up Down when you guys were DJing.
We have a good time.
And it's fun. It's just a great time. Yeah. You guys are good at what
we
you
get
do.
smashed. We DJ together. It's fun.
And the crowd is always having fun. I've never seen a bored crowd at one of you guys' shows. So
also remember to check out us on Instagram and Patreon, and our website links. All of them are in the show descriptions, but Instagram is Banter and Such Podcast. Patreon is patreon.com/banter and such. And
you got to see our pictures of our costumes that we're wearing right now and our videos. It's so cool. Also, we're proud members of the Helios Network, a collection of great podcasts made by regular people. That's you, Owen.
It's my turn to talk.
You check out the
check us out on the heliosnetwork.com to check out some of our other amazing podcasts. Because Puck's here, we're going to talk about Master Debaters. Which I do believe you guys are recording your first episode this week.
Do we have that scheduled to record?
I think so, yeah.
We've been talking about that for so long.
We did talk about it.
And now it's becoming a reality.
Yeah, I need to follow up with the boys on that.
Yeah.
Soft topics, hard opinions.
Hard dicks, soft dicks,
What's better? You tell me.
What's better?
Yeah, I am super excited about this show.
Yeah, we're excited, man. Yeah, I actually had completely forgot about that conversation until right now.
Yeah. So anyways, it's a podcast all about just stupid debating.
And just talking shit, really. I mean, it's more of that. It's like, all of us just love to talk shit.
Just debating those things you debate.
Yeah.
It's a hot dog sandwich.
Okay, we'd like to get mad about dumb things.
Well, you read me some of your intros, and they're just so hilarious. Oh, man. This is going to be
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
All right, so thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Banter and Such.
Next week, we're continuing with the Spooktober specials, and we're going to be talking all about another iconic movie monster, which is the most infectious one of them all, zombies. And we're going to have the gore horror queen herself back on, Lexi Redding, with us.
Woo! Well, I'm Brando.
And I'm Owen.
And until next time, may your week be filled with BS.
So can we continue talking about Werewolf by Night? Because that's all I wanted to talk about.
I know,
this entire
right?
Episode.
I'm really excited about Werewolves Within. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks.
I suggested
fantastic.
that as the third film.
Yeah.
When he brought up Ginger, or no, what were you originally? You were like, I don't know what the third film was going to be. And I was like, let's do a Werewolf Within. He's like, oh, I've seen it. I was like, that doesn't matter. That seems like it would be a good contribution to this whole genre.
Yeah. Well, I originally suggested Ginger Snaps because it's on everybody's list.
It's every single werewolf list. Ginger Snaps is in the top 5 werewolf movie of all time.